blockbuster trade that kind of came out of nowhere yesterday
Yes.
in the NBA as the Orlando Magic acquired Desmond Bane from the Memphis Grizzlies in exchange for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who was, remember when Orlando signed KCP? It was, missing piece? Three-point sharpshooter, get them over the hump, and he was absolutely brutal. Cole Anthony, decent, backup point guard, 4 unprotected first-round picks, and a pick swap. So Memphis, I don't know, are they in the midst of a full rebuild here? Is this just kind of like a retooling around Jaren Jackson? We can talk about that. But the real interesting part of this is the Orlando Magic, Femi, who acquire Desmond Bane now to join Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, and Jalen Suggs in a terrible Eastern Conference. When you first saw this news, the thought that went through your head was what and why?
It's that Orlando's going for it. And I agree with them for going for it. Like make the bet on your young stars, Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner. Those two guys, they're really young, promising players, especially Paolo, who's an all-NBA caliber guy. If he takes another step forward, now you have a legitimate, at least, shooting threat and offensive initiator in the backcourt, because they didn't have that. You mentioned the jokes about KCP, missing piece here. I mean, everybody was going crazy that Denver lost KCP. It's oh my goodness, how do you replace this guy? Now, I guess they never got back to the finals. At least they haven't since they won the title. But KCP was a disaster for Orlando. So at least with Bane, you have a 3-point shooter. Bane is a 40% career 3-point shooter. And this is a team that had I think the fewest 3-pointers made all season amongst the entire league. They could not shoot whatsoever. You get that. You have a really good defender in Desmond Bane. What do the Magic kind of hang their hat on? Defense. You maintain your defensive prowess, and now Bane can at least initiate offense to some degree. Yes,
he's a dog
he fits
on
in.
Defense. He
fits
does.
in.
He does fit in, and it just goes noted watching the NBA Finals and watching the way the Pacers play defense and the way the Thunder play defense. Orlando, and I'm not to. Could they play defense at the level of these teams with the guys that they've got? Is it possible?
Oh, 100%. It's just the offense is the question. That's the setback for Orlando, because we all saw them when they played against the Boston Celtics. It's these guys can't score. They have trouble. But defense, they're right up there. Every year they're talked about as a top 3 defense, or at least the last couple of years with Jamal Mosley. He emphasizes defense. They're one of the best defensive teams in the league. And it's going to bank on health, which is the big issue with this team. That's where I'm I want to get excited, but I'm kind of a little bit apprehensive because Jalen Suggs has had struggle staying healthy.
I've got numbers here. I've got numbers for you. You ready?
On the defensive numbers?
No. Injury numbers. Oh. So Orlando, no, because it's going to help your point. Yeah. Orlando last year goes 500. The Magic go 41-41, right? So when I read this, it's going to be a miracle that they got to 41-41. Paolo last year played 46 games out of 82. Franz played 60. And most notably, the 22 that he missed cost him the opportunity to win Most Improved Player, which is still a point of contention for a lot of people around these parts. Paolo, 46. Franz, 60. Jalen Suggs, 35. So those are your big 3, all missing significant chunks of time during the season.
Yes.
And they still won 41 games. A year after being the 5 seed and getting the Cleveland Cavaliers to a Game 7 on the road that they got blown out in the game. But still, for a young team to get to a Game 7 on the road against Cleveland the year before, Femi, I thought was pretty impressive.
You just hope that these are not chronic injuries to where these guys are going to be injury-prone players. If it was just all a one-off and it was kind of lightning in a bottle, they all got injured in the same season, hopefully that's the case, because if they're healthy, why can't they be a top 3 seed? I see this as a top 3 seed next year with Desmond Bane. Now, I know a lot of people are talking about, well, they gave up so much. Yeah, man, that's just kind of what it is now. Again, if you have to give up a lot of picks, the Knicks gave a bunch of picks for Mikal Bridges. The Lakers got away with ski mask robbery of the century, of the millennium, getting Luka for 1 pick
and
or whatever.
They did trade Anthony Davis, to be fair.
But they
Anthony
did
Davis
trade
really
Davis.
Good. This is not KCP and Cole Anthony. And look, the Lakers won the deal, but I mean, they did trade Anthony Davis in the deal.
Yeah, who's a Hall of Fame player. They traded a Hall of Fame player for a better Hall of Fame player. But they at least had to give one up. But this, to me, I think you do this 10 out of 10 If you're Orlando, if I'm running the team, at least see if these guys can make a run. And if not, you can do the Memphis thing, which is the other part of this equation, to where, hey, sometimes you look around and say, we're not good enough. Let's reset the deck and try to give it a run in a couple of years or 3 years from now, similar to what OKC did, kind of resetting the deck post Russell Westbrook and Paul George. So I like that Orlando's going for it. And I do think Memphis now is the intriguing team this offseason with Ja and Jaren Jackson Jr., but not on the block, but teams are going to come calling, especially for Triple J, who is one of those rare commodities as a center who can shoot three-pointers.
Let's talk about the Eastern Conference next year, because I have to say, I agree with your thought on the Magic making this deal and going for it here. If the Magic played in the West, I'd probably be a little more apprehensive about it. I don't know if I'd be as bullish about it. But given that they play in the Eastern Conference, where I'm going to read team names here. And I looked, I don't think BetMGM has this market yet for NBA champion next year. But there are domestic sports books that have this up. NBA champion next year. The Boston Celtics have shorter odds than the Magic. Everyone, I'm not making this up. Jason Tatum tore his Achilles, right? And he underwent surgery. He's not playing next year. And we know that ownership is going to move multiple pieces on the roster. I want someone to explain to me how the Celtics, without Jason Tatum and more moves to be made, are going to be better than the Orlando Magic next year. That doesn't mean that when Tatum's back, the Celtics can't be better than Orlando immediately, but that's not what this is going to be next year, right? So here are the teams in the East. The Knicks, who don't have a coach. Everyone wants to kill the Knicks for that. I don't necessarily want to kill them for that, not yet at least, but the Knicks don't have a coach. You've got the Cleveland Cavaliers, who could roll out of bed and win 50-plus games next year, but no one's going to trust them come playoff time after what happened against the Pacers. You have Indiana, who I think probably won't be the betting favorite, but I think a lot of people are going to like the Pacers next year. We'll see how they do over an 82-game regular season, if this incredible run can carry over to the regular campaign.
Let's also see with Miles Turner, too, as a free agent as well.
We think they're going to keep him based on what shot. Well, he keeps missing shots, maybe not. But it sounds like they want to keep him, right? That was Shams reporting. He's not been good in these finals, though, Miles Turner. No. And the other team is Milwaukee, if they choose to keep Giannis. And I would still say the upside for that team is fourth seed, maybe. The upside is to be the fourth seed in the East. And second rounds of the playoffs at Eastern Conference Finals at absolute best. And I don't even think they get there. You mentioned top 3 seed for Orlando, and we didn't talk about this beforehand. I'm in lockstep with you. Now, health is going to be a big thing here. Can Paolo stay healthy? Can Suggs stay healthy? If they all stay healthy, this team's winning 50 games next year. And I'm going to be fascinated to see what the win total is going to be for Orlando. They are going to be a top 3 seed in the East, I agree, and maybe a year away from playing for an NBA championship. But, man, I think they're going to be a monster dude in the regular season. We can get to Memphis in a second, bud. I really, really, really like this trade for Orlando, and we'll see what Anthony Black's able to do and what some of the other players are able to do on the roster. But this starting lineup would be awesome for Orlando. So Memphis trades Desmond Bane. Memphis still has Ja Morant, and Memphis still has Triple J. Now, I don't know how viable it is, Femi, for Memphis to be able to deal one or both of them. If I'm Memphis in that conference, and it's funny, right? If you put Memphis in the East, maybe they'd feel a little differently. Maybe they would have kept Bane and maybe you go for it. In that conference, I think you blow it up. I think you try and trade everybody. It's never going to happen with this core. An Edie's hurt. It's just not going to happen. And I'm fascinated if they keep Ja and Triple J. I'm fascinated what this win total is going to be next year. Because I'll tell you what, man, they were able to sneak into the playoffs this year by beating bad teams and losing to all the good teams. I don't even think they're making the play-in next year. If this is what it's going to be in Memphis, Femi.
And you can't really rely on guys like Ja. Ja's going to be good to miss at least 20 games a year? Whether injury or otherwise? He's always missing games now.
Blocka.
Exactly. He's out there with his grenades.
He's a lunatic.
He's throwing grenades now and then covering his ears. You never know.
Dude, he got fined and then did the gun celebration on national television. Pointed a gun, basically. It was an AK, right, or something. At the Heat bench, he's crazy.
He's actually nuts. So, like, you can't count on that dude for 75 games, is what we're saying here. Like, I would not count on Ja Morant. And Jaren Jackson Jr., who's a stud and, like, really good player, like, now he has his flaws as well. Like, doesn't rebound as much as you'd want for an athletic big guy. But, hey, like, he's a great defensive player and can also stretch the floor. Like, that's the guy I think is incredibly valuable in terms of an asset for Memphis. And there's teams out there who need centers, like the Lakers, who've been looking for a center. Are the Lakers going to pull this trade off? I don't know, man. They got Luka. Like, you never know. Like, the Lakers might just throw some fairy dust in front of the Grizzlies, and all of a sudden, here's Jaren Jackson Jr. for just really high.
They did have a trade for Mark Williams last year before,
they
like,
did.
they got the physicians or whatever.
They failed
the doctors.
Yeah, they failed him on the physical there, which he like played like 2 weeks later against the Lakers. I don't know.
Yeah, they probably want to do over on that. I would.
You would think.
Here's
especially
Jackson
since they couldn't
Hayes.
stop anybody.
Here's Jackson Hayes. Actually, no. It's not Jackson Hayes because he didn't play in the postseason against Minnesota.
I was going to say, who was so unplayable that they just put the starters out there for 24 straight minutes. That's how bad Jackson Hayes was. They said, we can't go to the bench. And they lost the game and lost in 5 and went home packing, which was unfortunate for series bets, for me at least. But for me, like your team, the Knicks, would you be interested in Jaren Jackson Jr.? I would be, because I think that's the kind of big guy that Jalen Brunson needs to play with. Like, Towns was outstanding for the Knicks this season.
I don't know, dude. I have an emo attachment to Towns. I really like Towns.
So, like, I mean, you're attached to Towns, you're attached to Brunson, you're not going to win. Like, that's how it goes. Like, you got to do something. And I know it's not going to be Brunson because the city might burn down if it's Brunson that gets traded. So, like, I'm sorry. Towns, who was great and was better than Brunson in the Eastern Conference Finals, like, I think you got to call up for Jaren Jackson Jr. because
I'm not ready.
You get a
I'm not ready
defensive
to
presence.
have this conversation, and I don't want to do that to Towns. Like, Towns,
are you ready to win a title or what?
No, dude,
you want to win a championship?
Towns is like a really nice guy. He comes across as a really nice guy.
Yeah.
Put him in that locker room with Ja. I don't know if I like that from that guy, Karl Anthony Towns.
Here's Towns with the guns. It'll be the Towns. That's the movie they'll shoot.
I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like that for my guy Karl Anthony Towns. But
but I mean, we're talking about championships Memphis, here, man.
My hope is, betting wise, is that Memphis keeps both of them, and you just bet they're under next year. I don't know if they're going to be expected to do anything, but I mean, like, I want, like, in all seriousness, like, think about this, right? Let's go through the teams in the West. Femi, I'm just going to name teams. You tell me if you think they will be better or worse than Memphis without Desmond Bane this year. And we don't know, like, when's Edey playing? The Nuggets.
Mm-hmm. The Nuggets will be better.
Minnesota.
Minnesota will be better.
Thunder.
Thunder will be better.
Warriors.
Warriors will be better.
Clippers.
Clippers will be better.
Lakers.
Lakers will be better.
Mavericks.
Mavericks will be better.
Rockets.
Rockets will be better.
Spurs.
Spurs will be better.
All right, so that's 9, right? And now we get into if Ja misses time or Triple J misses time, like, could Portland take the next step? Like, Utah's probably, like, maybe still trying to tank. We'll see about Utah. We'll see what happens with the Suns, but they're still going to have Devin Booker. Sacramento, the Pelicans with this Zion saga. I think it's realistic they miss the play. I just gave 9 teams, and I don't even, like, where's the argument that the Grizzlies are going to be better than any one of those teams?
There is none.
So,
I think what
so
you outlined is that, like,
it's a thin margin for them.
Like, best case scenario is the play-in tournament. That's best case scenario.
Yeah.
Barring, like, crazy injuries across the conference, like, we obviously know, like, that could happen. But, like, if everyone's, like, relatively healthy, best case play-in, nah. Like, I think they have taken a look around the Western Conference. They understand the landscape, and, like, you know what, we got to kind of strip this thing down to the bones, and then maybe they keep one of the guys, but I think another one's getting shipped out at some point this summer, especially if Miles Turner re-signs with Indiana. Like, the teams want a center, and Jaren Jackson Jr. might be the belle of the ball in the trade market.